trap loop, all right, where when you're a child, you are learning things as you get older, right? You become adults, and you think you're super smart up until a certain point that you come in contact with some other form of information, and then what you think you once knew kind of becomes obsolete, and now you ride the wave of something else because it resonates with you now at that moment in time. Based on the patterns and waves and things that are happening on the planet or in your environment, I mean, it may resonate with you just based on that. And then you think you're coming out with some type of breakthrough. So you may have gone from, you know, let's say a child, you get to know new things, you get into religion, you get so caught up in religion that you think something's happening. Then all of a sudden, the big shift happens, and then all of a sudden you leave religion, you go into spirituality, but you go into it with a religious mindset. Even if you didn't go into it with a religious mindset, I mean, you're still going into something, which means you're still forming some type of separation between you and whatever you left that you consider obsolete or false now in your reality. And it keeps you in the same exact scenario that you were before, even though you think you've made a breakthrough. I mean, in actuality, the key is to leave it all behind. Drop all the shit that you think you know, because you really don't know shit. You know what I'm saying? You don't know anything. When you drop everything, you drop all these ideas of whatever it is that man made. Even though you think you're coming out of the man-made circle, okay? You're still in something. When you leave it all behind, it's sort of like a detachment, but it's a form of integration at the same time, because the fact that you left it all behind is a form of integration, all right? Because you didn't value one thing over the other. It's kind of like when I said love, all right, is an attachment. But the attachment is not what you think, like you're connecting with humans, right? On a spiritual, physical, emotional, whatever it may be. You can connect with people in many different ways. But the connection is not in the physical way. The connection is literally when you take off your fucking glasses that you see this illusion of separation through. You see that there's nothing separate to you. Even the people you don't resonate with, even the people you don't like, you'll still see the connection even with them. So you can't help but to see the connection in everything outside of you. Where in kind, it tells you in the Bible, treat your neighbor as you would yourself, because you're literally treating yourself when you treat others. The service you do to yourself, you're doing to others. It kind of leads you to believe that this is why the ultimate crime to humanity is deleting yourself or outing yourself. Because when you out yourself, you kill the whole world. So you think you're important when you're really not, but then you're not, and you really are as important. Because you're killing yourself, you're killing the world. You killing yourself is worse than you killing even, let's say, 500,000 people. So you can kind of see where I'm getting at. You're projecting the world outside of you. So it's all ideas, including the things you're not seeing. There's still ideas. Even the people or things you do see are still considered ideas. You're breathing, and you breathe the breath of life into everybody outside of you. And your heart rate frequency determines the vibratory state of the people that you create, that you're creating in your reality. More or less like your vibe attracts your tribe. So God breathing life into the nostrils of man, okay, is basically breathing in through the Ila, Ida, and the Pingala. Male and masculine, right? It's like you see people outside of you and you think you're seeing like man and woman. A woman is still a kind of man. This is why whenever you talk about mankind, women are involved in that, because they're a kind of man. And when we talk about, you know, oh, man is here because man came out of the woman, and no, humanity came out of nothing, came out of darkness, which is the feminine energy, chaos energy. And now you're in formation, that's order out of some type of chaos. Okay? If you start to go back to its most root core of shit, you come out of nothing. Which is why you have the ability to be all things at the same time. Whatever idea you have of yourself is nothing but an idea, but you are not those things. So, man, okay, and woman came out of nothing. Out of darkness came light. You're a light being whether you're a man or a woman. Now, when it comes down to man and woman, they talk about man has the guidance over the feminine energy. Why is this? See, in actuality, your body can't tell the difference between a real or a fake experience, right? So in actuality, man has a better ability, all right, to be able to determine a real or a fake experience. Because, see, the virtue of man, all right, is to have control of his emotions, but it's not to suppress it. Because if something has to be let out, it can be let out. But because you have higher faculties and you have consciousness and awareness, you can channel and have order over that emotion. So if you're fucking angry, you ain't gonna be a bitch ass nigga and go fucking kill people, right? You can actually transmute anger and channel it into something creative or something that's gonna benefit you, and in kind it benefits the planet. So you don't suppress emotions. I heard that shit from a dumbass motherfucker online, that you are supposed to suppress emotions because man, if he really gets angry, he can fucking destroy shit. And this is 100% true. But don't forget, because you're a man and you're physically stronger here, women are metaphysically stronger than you are. And every man has a woman in them. And the woman outside of you is a manifestation of the estrogen that you have in you. Everything is a manifestation of what your mind is creating to you think be real outside of you. So now, here's the thing. If you believe in certain gods, if you believe in certain things, who the fuck am I to tell you it doesn't exist? You saw it, you believed it. I believe you. I don't believe in you, I believe in me. But I believe you, you saw it. If I see a person on drugs and they're having hallucinations, I believe them. Otherwise, they wouldn't be talking about it. They're obviously seeing something. So I believe them. Now, everything here you're experiencing, as far as you would create history. By the way, I got my Jeep. I want you to listen to how badass this shit sounds. I'll make a separate video on that. Everything you see out here from the moment you're born, let's say if you got to meet Arnold Schwarzenegger, you can't deny you met Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? But will you ever meet Abraham Lincoln, right? We know he existed. I can believe he existed, but it never happened in my reality. I can only go by a story that I'm hearing, right? Just like whatever stories I'm attached to, I can talk about it. You're gonna discredit my stories? I'm experiencing it. So my reality, you would consider an anecdotal claim, and it's invalid, but then you would say, oh, it's not backed up by scientific evidence or medical claims or medical fact, right? Because that's where your faith and belief goes into. Because once upon a time, we believed in high priests, right? And now it's scientists. But we separate science and spirituality. Your goofy ass don't know what the fuck is going on out here. Unless you get to know yourself, even the shit that you see outside of you that you think is corrupt, it's a mirror of you. If it's triggering you, it's directly a fucking mirror of you. So if you have any ideas, all right, share them. Let me know. But they're just ideas. Just like I can say these are just journals for me. But the woman, the man, the animals, the people that I can't stand in my life, oh, I'm creating them. And in some aspect of the game, They are me. They are me, and they're showing me a mirror of me, right? Do I combat that with acidity, or do I neutralize that chemistry to some extent? I'm going to make a separate video on that, because I want to talk about, even when we say positive energy, right? You got negative energy. Negative energy is feminine energy, right? But negative energy is more of an alkaline energy, right? You give off positive ions, you get negative ions from the soil. That's an alkalizing effect, right? You're positive, right? You can develop building blocks out of this. A man is more on the positive side of chemistry. That's masculine energy, but that's also more acidic energy. So when you start to think of these scenarios and you start to look at where the blueprint is at, I mean, shit. You know how you could tell that your body don't know the difference between a real or fake experience? Go to bed every night and think of, and maybe for 30 seconds to a minute, think of the best life you can possibly live. Everything you've ever wanted in life. Or it may be something, or it may be a multiple amounts of things, or it may be a lifestyle that you choose to want to live. Do that for 1 minute before you go to bed, and maybe 1 minute when you wake up, where your brain is still like trying to catch up out of the sleep realm, right? And see if you don't see things happening, some miraculous things happening in your life. And also maybe even some realizations or synchronicities start to happen also. Now, everybody experiences synchronicity, but what is the key here? Awareness. Do you experience these synchronicities, and are you aware of the synchronicities? A lot of people get these synchronicities and they're right in your face and you don't even notice them. So, I mean, that's pretty much all I got for this video. But in a nutshell, you don't know shit. Like if you like, and we will talk soon.